Welcome to the HR Empowerment Podcast, where we will uncover strategies and new insights from HR professionals who discuss up-to-date regulations, best practices, and the most pressing topics like diversity and equity, leadership, dealing with difficult situations, and much more that affect your bottom line and business. Thanks for joining us.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We are here talking with Morgan Williams, who's a fractional people partner and CEO of Peak HR. We're talking about the entire employee life cycle and how you can help direct the best-in-class employee life cycle in your organization. Welcome back, Morgan.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Hey, JC, how you doing up there in freezing cold Buffalo?
Oh, I'm a little chilly, Wendy. Thanks for asking and rubbing it in.
Yeah, you know, I do what I got to do. Morgan, where are you calling in from?
New York, so it's not too much warmer from Buffalo.
All right. Sorry, folks. Soon when we're dying with sweat down here, you'll have a nice breeze, hopefully, up there. I'm calling in from Florida myself. All right, so let's jump into talking about, building a people-first approach. I would say, this has been something that most companies have been striving. Maybe some things are going to change this year in 2025. It's a very weird year going on so far. But Morgan, let's just jump straight in. What core elements do you believe make up a people-first HR strategy?
The people. I think that people really just overcomplicate this and try to think of what the people want. How can I do this for the people? Engage the people. That's the first thing that I would totally say. Listening tours, understand there's probably some stuff from that old survey, engagement survey that you still haven't done, that they're still waiting on. And I think so many people try to cultivate this really cool moment or think about these exciting benefits that they can do. And it's like you have things that people are just waiting for you to do right now. Start tackling that. That's going to build trust. That's going to allow people to feel safe enough to talk about the other things that they want for you to truly build that culture. But if you start trying to do things without listening and you're constantly asking them, you're building the culture you want, not necessarily the one for the people.
Right. Exactly. So I heard the key word there, listening. I just did a training on active listening, and it's interesting because I find that we often, even amongst our friends, we are listening just for a break in the area so that we can actually talk, but we're not really listening then, right? And so if we're not listening, then we can't actually ask our employees, do you want to be part of this culture? Are we doing a good job? Are we not doing a good job? Do you have any feedback? And we certainly will have a much harder time giving recognition as well. And I think JC has some statistics on recognition.
Prioritizing employees through recognition programs leads to significant organizational success. Organizations with formal employee recognition programs experience 31% less voluntary turnover compared to those without such programs. Back to you.
That's a huge number. Morgan, what is your experience on employee recognition programs?
I love them. I think that, when they can really work best is when you can have cross-functional teams or kind of some type of voting. So you don't have the bias that's only within this one team or external recognition from another team. I think that that's really cool because sometimes we can operate so much in a silo. So when you can cross and see another department or you're working on a project, this is an opportunity, one, to give that team props. They may not get it, but this is the other chance also. So you can see how other people are doing and representing. I love when they're tied to mission, vision, and values, because now you can see what that actually looks like in that business of, what this value is. It's not just talking about it or naming it. You can actually see what this is. So I'm a huge fan, especially when you can incorporate those pieces, as well as tying them back together, because the people are part of it. Once again, engagement, and they get a chance to be recognized, not only from their manager, but from their peers as well.
I was going to ask you, and you already answered it without me asking, is, how can a business, no matter what their size is, start shifting towards the mindset of people first initiatives, and mission, vision, and values is it. I mean, I talk about that all day long in my 2 books as well. It's if the owners or the leaders, I don't even like the word leaders, the managers of the company don't understand what the mission, the vision, and the values are, how the heck do we expect our employees to understand them and comply with them, right?
Yeah. And they have to be reminded. People study those and for interviews. And after then, it's like, if you start asking somebody that's been at a company for 5 years what their mission, vision, value is, they can't tell you. is not happening in the company. It's just a placeholder statement.
I love that you said, yeah, people study them and they memorize them for interviews. It's the truth, right? They're like, okay, I want to get my foot in the door, let them know that I'm engaged. I'm engaged as a candidate. And then bomb, it falls off, right after the onboarding process or during the onboarding process is what I often find. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, at that point, when do you see it again? When is it revisited? A lot of times it's not. And so if you don't have these key programs that continuously tie that, or you're talking about it through business initiatives or why you're making a decision, what's the point of knowing that information anymore?
Yeah, it really is. Can you share an example of, a successful people first initiative that you've led?
Oh, yeah. I'm a person, I like to lead with data. I can tell you that I've definitely done a lot of surveys, engagement surveys, and everything else like that. I think one of the things is you have to build psychological safety. That's very important. But after that, I tell them very transparently of like, these go to the CEO, these go to the exec team. I've been raising all these things up, but if y'all say this in numbers, they have to see it. I use those tools for my advantage. That builds in trust, that gets the things that they need across the line. I tell them there's a box that it's open. Go ahead and put your thoughts in there. And it allows me to really get across some of the things that they want and align it with our business, but also it goes ahead, to the people that need to see it. So it's not just me pushing this or, oh, you're only talking about one or two people. No, did you read all them results? Because
right.
It's the thing I'm hearing all the time, but now they get to. So now what are we going to do about it? And that's something I'm a huge fan of. Even like I said, with the listening tours, I do the same thing. What can I pull out of here to show we have an area to work on? This is how we can do this. It builds trust. There's buy-in already. They're advocating for these things, and then you're launching it. And so it's this continued cycle, but it enables all the things you want: engagement, recognition, somebody's hearing you, as well as aligning things with the business and being able to give them a reason why. It's not just Morgan said, there's a reason why. And and also leadership has to own something now.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Thank you so much for that answer. Thanks, everybody, for listening to episode 2 of our 5-part series. We are talking about directing best in-class employee life cycles. Up next, we're going to cover navigating change. Oh, boy, and we're seeing a lot of that in 2025. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining the HR Empowerment Podcast, brought to you by Aurora Training Advantage. We hope you've gained new insight and strategies to navigate the HR profession. We look forward to you joining us again on the HR Empowerment Podcast.